our viewers that have been kind of keeping up with, I don't know, I guess what happened last week about me passing out. I went to the doctor yesterday, and the official diagnosis is polycythemia, which is where your bone marrow produces too much red blood cells. And then when they checked my red blood cells were also, they had a lot that were damaged. So I'm waiting to get into the doctor. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all I'll need is a lot of blood drained from me regularly until I get into the safe levels. And then just like, I think once a month, like I think they do it like weekly. And then once you're in the safe levels, they do like a pint a week. And then
they don't have to do like dialysis or anything.
Dialysis for kidneys.
I know, but like you have blood, like because it cleans your blood.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't sure if.
I don't know. I haven't went to the oncologist and hematologist yet, so I don't know. I mean, I'll find out for sure, but hopefully I'll just have to have some blood taken until I get into the safe levels, and then just like regularly just go get some blood taken to keep me from being overloaded.
So that blood that they're taking, can they use that, or is it like medical waste?
So I think it'll be medical waste because polycythemia is considered a blood cancer. And my bone marrow is damaged. So I don't know. And then a lot of my red blood cells are damaged red blood cells. They're like broken, fragmented ones, which is odd because I noticed my blood cells look different back when I was taking my basics in college.
Oh, okay.
Me and my friend Alicia were looking at our blood. In fact, I thought I thought I diagnosed myself with HIV. I'm not even kidding. Like,
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And we were looking at my blood, and I was like, look at my blood. It looks different than yours. And she was like, oh, it does. I was like, I think I have HIV. My blood is damaged. Like there's something wrong. So she laughed. That's actually what we became friends over, was me thinking that I had HIV.
Well, on the bright side, if you did have HIV, they just cured the first woman of it. So
yeah, I saw that.
We're getting close.
So, and then I was reading about this, and it's something that slowly progresses over a long period of time. So I'm like, that was probably what was going on 15, 17, however many years ago it was.
Playing the long game.
Yeah. So, but now it's just progressed to the point where it's, affecting life, obviously.
Yeah.
But it causes headaches, which I've struggled with for years. Yeah. It causes the dizziness and lightheadedness, which I've struggled with for years. Like it causes all these things. And then I've even, because I struggle with giving blood, like whenever I have to have labs taken, my veins blow real easily. And then it drains insanely slow. And I'm like, well, it's because it's too thick. It's been too thick. Okay. Like that makes sense now. And
I'm surprised that they didn't notice up until now that it was too thick.
Well, at my doctor's office, she was like, I've checked your hemoglobin, numerous times, and it's always in the safe zone. But whenever the Red Cross checked it and the hospital checked it, it was too high. So I'm like, I think that your lab isn't working right.
Yeah.
Whatever you are using to check the hemoglobin, I think that's not working right. Because 2 other places get almost the exact same score. They both were over 18. They almost got the exact same lab draw a month apart in 2 different locations than what my doctor's office gets whenever they check it. So I'm thinking that they're not checking it right.
So are you going to keep going there then?
Yeah, everything else. I mean, she's absolutely wonderful. She'll give me a referral to anything that I need. She stays on top of things. I just may need to have my labs done somewhere else. So
that's what I have with like my dentist. So like, I'm still dealing with my wisdom tooth, and I keep getting like these little pieces of like jagged hard stuff coming out of my gums. And it's like, okay, this wisdom tooth came out 2 months ago. Like, why is this still not healed? Especially because the other one took literally 2 weeks to heal. So I got the infection that like my first dentist, the one that pulled my teeth, they just like did scaling, and then they're like, you're fine, you don't need antibiotics, go home. And then like my gum blew up to the size of my tooth. So I went to a different dentist, and they gave me the prescription. She was appalled that they didn't give me, like, they confirmed that I had an infection, but they didn't give me antibiotics. I'm like, I also thought that was weird, but like, I'm not a dentist. So, and then but I mean, here we are. It's a month since I went to that second dentist, and I still have these jagged things. So I was researching last night, and they're called like bone shards. And I'm like, which is, it came out, it wasn't impacted. So like, why do I have bone shards? And also it said like they can last a few weeks, but it's like, okay, but this has been happening for a month. Like, when does this stop? And also, like, the socket isn't healed. Like, I still have sensitivity. Like, I'm just so over it. I just want to eat like a normal human person again. Like, I'm water picking my mouth 1 or 2 times a day. I'm, swishing the apple cider vinegar around in there, and I'm still getting these fucking bone shards. And it just like, it's just uncomfortable because it literally just sits under my gum and I can't see it, which is why it was so shocking, because I looked at pictures and everybody's like, oh, you can see them, but don't pull them out. I'm like, I can't see them. I don't know they're there until I'm water picking. They pop out of my skin. But
Maybe
like,
you shouldn't water pick.
yeah, I have to. That's what they said.
It just
And they're
seems like
not,
the
they're not
pressure
healthy
of that
bone.
would keep it from closing.
No, but you know what though? It's not healthy bone that's coming out, because like they're discolored. Like part of it is bone color, but the other part is like this like dark gray color. It smells terrible. So it seems like it's infected. And that's why I thought it was at first. I was like, okay, well, that must be the infection coming out, which is what I do with the water pick. Because I have a water pick specific for dental pockets, which is what I got because the other dentist didn't give me antibiotics. So my gum swelled, so I got a pocket, but it cleans it out, because if you have any debris in there, it won't close. And it's so gentle that like there's no way that that's keeping it from closing. It's just irrigating it. But the fact that I keep having bone shards come out, my wisdom tooth came out in one piece, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the new dentist and find out if this is normal. And I actually like, because this is gross, but the bone shards from yesterday, which is why I called the dentist, I had the pain because it just sits under your gum and it just feels like just jagged and it's just irritated and you can't do anything about it. So I was just like sucking my like cheek gum area and I felt something pop out. And I like, pulled my tongue out and that's what was on it. So I put them in a bag, but like, that's what it was. Like I sucked them out of my own body. And I'm just like, my concern, I know it's like irrational, but my concern is like my jaw is like disintegrating, but I have no pain. So that's why I'm like, I don't know what it is. Cause like, it's not painful. I'm not taking painkillers anymore, but it's irritated. And then when I massage it, because it's irritated, it gets more irritated. And then I need to take painkillers. But I wish I'd never gotten my wisdom teeth out. Like my lockjaw is gone. I don't have it anymore. And that's fantastic. But honestly, I would have rather my jaw kept clicking than be so paranoid about every single time that I eat.
Yeah. Well, back to the blood stuff. That's why I have Nandor the Relentless here, because I am in the search for a vampire. Since I'm going to need to be draining blood, I figure it should go to good use.
Is it,
If
medical
any
waste.
of our viewers or listeners are vampires, hit me up because I might have a job for you.
I also want to know if they can't even take it, or if it's like, because like if there's something wrong with your blood.
They're vampires.
I know, but like, are they immune to all issues with blood?
They're undead.
Okay, so I just watched.
They're not gonna get cancer.
But listen, so I just watched Being Human again, and one of the characters in that is a vampire, and there was this like everybody on Earth got like this flu, and it was like a cold/flu. It wasn't like terrible, didn't impact humans, but when the vampires would feed off of them, it would basically like slow.
Well, here's the chance to test it.
Yeah, like they would start to rot and then they would die. So that's why I'm curious.
So let's start with a vampire we don't like, not Nandor, the Relentless.
Yeah.
Test it on that. Well, he doesn't drink blood. He just drinks energy. So never mind.
Energy?
Have you never watched What We Do in the Shadows?
No, I have
not.
Oh my
God, that is such a good show. It is so funny. It's a comedy. It's like a
Okay.
mockumentary.
All right. I might watch
It's
it.
hilarious. It's really good.
Like, yeah, drinking energy is just like somebody you're just sitting across.
Oh,
from,
it's this
like,
guy. He works in an
be in a good
office. He's
mood.
one of the vampires that lives with them. But he's an energy vampire. And so he literally just bores everyone to death. Like he drains their energy. And he's like,
Oh, I see.
and then I thought maybe I should switch from college ruled paper to wide ruled paper. And that's not what he says, but I mean, something like that would just bore people to death. And he takes their energy while he's doing
terrible.
that. It's hilarious.
That
And he works
sounds
in an
hilarious.
office, just feeds off everyone.
Oh my
They're all
God.
like, "Ugh." So what do we have in the news this week?
So the first story is exciting. So Sandy Hook Elementary, they had the school shooting in 2012, and a gunman, a 20-year-old male, forced his way into the elementary school, fatally shot 20 first graders and 6 staff members in just over 4 minutes. And he was using a version of an AR-15. Remington's version is called the Bushmaster XM15E2S semi-automatic rifle. So I think it was 6 families of children and like 4 families of the adults sued Remington. And that is the first time that anybody has sued a gun maker, because typically gun makers are exempt from the victim's family suing them, which is how they are able to continue about this. But what's interesting about this is the families argue that Remington negligently marketed an assault style rifle that was suitable only for military and police work to civilian consumers, using that it was a military police style rifle as their selling point. So they said in the state of Connecticut, the marketing that way is a violation of the Connecticut law that prevents deceptive marketing. So the original law that, saved all of these people in the past was a federal protection law. And because this was based solely at their marketing strategy, they were able to get through. So Remington agreed to pay the families $73 million. And the cool part about that, though, is that they are able to make public thousands of pages of internal company documents that prove that Remington was negligent, which is what I'm more excited. Like, it's great that the victims' families are getting the money. It's a little like, I'm not sure, I guess only like, because it says the families of 5 adults and 4 children sued. So it kind of sucks that it's not everybody as a whole. But I mean, if you didn't want to sue, then, it is what it is. But I'm excited to see if those documents prove anything, because they literally said they were marketing specifically to younger people, saying this is a combat rifle, you should use it. And it's like, what young person needs a combat rifle?
Nobody needs a combat rifle.
No, yeah, nobody needs a combat rifle.
Hunting rifle? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you were a hunter.
A protection gun? Yeah, sure. But a combat? Why are you going to be in combat? There's no reason for you to be in combat.
Exactly. And even if you sit there and you say, and you're like, well, I have it for protection in case we ever go to war or anything. It's like, okay, then why did you bring it out in public?
You will get issued guns for war.
Well, they're saying, like, the argument that I've seen,
in case you go to war against their own country.
Yeah. So they I've seen people that were like upset, and they're like, I'm not gonna register my guns. And it's like, yes,
that has never crossed my mind to go to war against my country. It's crossed my mind to move to another country that offers better benefits and better living arrangements and that type of thing, but not go to war with them.
Well, see, that's
not that people shouldn't, if it comes to that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, me personally, I've never thought I should go to war with my country. Like, that's a bit extreme. It's got to be really, really bad.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's Nazi type stuff going on for me to revolt at that level.
Yeah, like I can see why people are like, oh, we need to be prepared for war. And it's like, yes, because we should be upset about all the social programs and the, all of these things that are like, everybody, more than half the country is under poverty level. but I wouldn't necessarily say we need to go to war over it, because I can't see that a war would help. But it's the same reason, like I just saw an article that said that the military just got approved for, it was either 770 million or billion, I can't remember the number, but they just got approved that for the next like year, even though we're not in active war right now. So
Well,
it's like,
maybe because of the Russia.
but
Ukraine
even
stuff.
still, like we're not in war.
We're
And, like,
not, but it's looking like there's going to be a war and we might be called in to assist or something.
I
So it's
know.
probably precautionary.
I guess, but I feel like they were saying that they were going to do that before too. So I'm curious. And then the same thing, like I am genuinely concerned about like the, the war with the Ukraine and how that's going, and if like what that's going to be, because I can't reasonably say that like if they'd start drafting people like they did for other wars, I can't reasonably say that we would win against the Russians, who literally trained for this their entire lives and are excited to fight for their country. Like, can't see that as a thing. But yeah, so the Sandy Hook families got a ton of money, and I'm excited about it because it means that there are ways to sue these gun manufacturers for these school shootings. There's no reason that we should have them. Like, he went into an elementary school, a 20-year-old went into an elementary school. What did those children have? Like, who even thinks like that?
Right.
So yeah, so that was super exciting, and I hope that other victims and families follow suit and find some way to also sue their gun manufacturers.
Incident this week at Lily and Danica's school, where they had to be on lockdown because on Yik Yak, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
There was a threat, and they actually did find supposedly 2 guns.
Ooh.
Like, one was in someone's vehicle out in the parking lot. Like, apparently they brought like a lot of police presence in, and they started searching everyone, and it was like a big ordeal. So they found a gun in someone's vehicle, but it was like their hunting gun, and they just left it in their truck. So that doesn't, I don't feel count. I mean, no, you know better than to bring a gun on campus in today's world. Don't get me wrong, but this is also Arkansas, and they do hunt here. So, hold on, my cat's up here. And then supposedly they found one in a backpack of one of the boys.
Oh, that's scary.
So that one was, according to Lillian and Danica, that's what they heard. The school said everything was safe, everything's been taken care of, but if it's a minor, they don't release names or specifics if there's minors involved.
But even if they don't release the name, like, they should tell you if officially if a gun made it onto school property.
Everybody at school knows who was taken out of class. So
I guess, but like, I, as a parent, would want to know that a gun was able to make it onto the property. And then, it's like, yes, this person was caught, but for every person that's caught, they learn, somebody else learns what not to do.
Right.
So it just, I would like to see, like, I would have preferred if they would have said that. Like,
I was thinking when they messaged me and were like, they're searching everyone, I was thinking, oh, a lot of kids are going to be getting in trouble if they have like marijuana or anything.
Yeah, drugs.
Thanks, asshole. We're doing threat. Now I get caught. But apparently the police said we're not looking for that kind of stuff. We're only looking for guns, and so they just ignored anything else they found, I guess. I don't know, but
that's some good police work.
Sure if anyone else got in trouble, or anything, but
they used to do periodic locker checks at my high school. And we would do like the drill, but then like once or twice a year, they would be like, okay, we're doing an active shooter drill, but we're also going to search lockers as we would in like an active shooter situation.
I was
they were apprehended.
Before active shooter drills. When I was in high school was the Jonesboro shooting at West Side. I was in high school during that. And I think the Columbine was when I was in high school. So I just barely missed the active shooter drill era when that started. I don't remember us ever doing those.
Yeah, we did pretty frequently. So I remember all during elementary school, all it was like the tornado drills and stuff. But then as soon as high school started, becoming active shooter drills and fire drills and learning how to evacuate and like, this is what you need to do. And it's just it sucks. Like it's not
Well,
fun.
Lillian has had to be on lockdown. I can't even count the number of times in her high school or in her school career. I think the first time she was in first grade because a parent pulled a gun on another parent in the car line. Like, come on.
Like I get it, but my God.
So there was that. That was the first time that she was locked down. And that was terrifying because they didn't tell us the specific, and it was right around time you're supposed to start going to line up to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
And so we all get a text message and call saying, do not come to the campus. There's a gunman on campus. We're like, what the fuck? Like
See,
there is a suspect with a gun on the campus. Do not come to the campus, and it was like, oh my God. Like, so we didn't know any specifics. We didn't know that it was just in the car line. A parent pulled a gun on another parent. We had no idea. It was just, oh my Lord, and they're in elementary school, so they don't have their own phones that you can, now that they're in high school, they can message me, say, hey, this is what's going on. I'm safe. I'm in this location, kind of ease your mind a little bit. But when they're in elementary school, you're like, I have no idea what's going on. So that was
yeah, that like, I see that in like some of my groups online too, because parents will post what the school shows on like the community page. They're like, hey, parents of this high school, this junior high, this elementary school, this is what has been posted for anybody who didn't see the message. But it's always so vague. And if you get a message that's like, there's an active shooter, don't come here. It's like, no, the only thing I'm doing is coming there. Like I'll stay a safe distance, but like, I need more information.
Yeah.
You can't just tell people there's a gunman on campus.
Just a gunman, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. And, a lot of those parents are from my age where we were in school when West Side happened. And so I live in a town right next to Jonesboro, which is where the West Side shooting was. And we had a teacher and I think, ow, you got to get down. You're not getting up here and knocking my shit down. A teacher and I think 5 students that were killed, and the boys that killed them were like 5th grade, I think.
5th grade?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They were young. They were young enough that they got out of jail when they turned either 18 or 21.
Yeah,
and that was like a huge ordeal in our community because it was like these were the school shooters, and now they're getting out of jail because they were so young that they couldn't be tried as adults. So that was, I think one of them is now dead though. Like, I feel like one of them got into more legal trouble and, I mean, most of his life he was spent, in juvenile detention around other juvenile delinquents. It's like, what do you expect to have happen?
Well, plus when you get released, like there's not a ton of programs for people. And then especially somebody that's like, unless they give you a new identity and like relocate you, I mean, you can't go into like a McDonald's.
Like who's going to hire them?
Please. Like, yeah, it's like, okay, 1, you have a felony conviction, and 2, your felony conviction is for murdering people. Like, no, you cannot.
Well, no, I think that gets erased from the record because they were juveniles.
Oh, okay. But
still, everybody knows.
Yeah.
Especially in that community. Like, this is Arkansas. Everybody knows everybody in my community. So,
because I remember when I want to say it was in Wisconsin, but the Slenderman Killings. Were you familiar with that one? Okay. So there is this like fictitious man. He's called Slenderman. He's like, 7 or 8 feet tall. He's, super skinny. But in order to get to his castle, you have to kill someone. So somebody targeted these like preteen girls online, and told them like, you can come to my castle, but you have to kill somebody. I need a sacrifice. So they brought their friend to the woods, and they were all like, we're all going to meet
fake
Slenderman.
story.
No, it's a real story. The story is fake. Like Slenderman does not exist.
Yeah.
But the murder is real. So these two preteen girls brought their friend. They were like, we're all going to go meet Slenderman. And then they straight up murdered her. They like slit her throat in the woods. I believe she survived, but she was out there like slowly bleeding to death for like at least a day. And so these girls got arrested, but they were so young that it was like they couldn't be tried as adults. And then there was like a huge controversy about when they were going to get released, which I think was recently. But it was that same thing where it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I kind of see where it's like, you can't leave them locked up forever, but also like, please don't release these people back into the community.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's weird. I don't know how to transition out of this. The next story. So the next story is something that I see posted frequently in my local Facebook groups, and it drives me up a wall every time. So the specific issue of this one is somebody posted a photo of a phone with the screensaver, which was a girl. And she's a pretty girl. They posted it and they said, hey, if this is your phone, I found it in the McDonald's parking lot. Contact me to get it. And I just don't understand why that person is posting it on the Facebook group. Like, I have it, like I found it in a parking lot of a business. So instead of giving it to that business and posting, I found a phone. If you lost a phone at this McDonald's, please go to this McDonald's. They have it.
Or the police department.
Yes. They invaded somebody's two people's privacy, because the person
phone owner.
Yeah, like it's the phone owner and the
pictures.
person. Yeah. Because like, I mean, I would put a photo of myself as a screensaver, but like, I'm not everyone. So realistically, they invaded two people's privacy, and also are saying like, I have your phone, contact me to get it, which is super unsafe in every single way. And I see that happen with phones, with credit cards, with IDs. At least once a day, I see somebody post a picture of like somebody's credit card with like part of the numbers out, or an ID with just the photo covered, but their full address is visible. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, why would you post this? So that was something that I came here to vent about. Like, why do people do that? Why would you not just turn it in to...
I would just take it to the police department and be like, hey, I found this. And then post, hey, I found, if you're missing one of these, I turned one into the police department.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
And like the thing about I can kind of get the phone.
Then I don't have to run the risk of meeting them in person. They don't have to run the risk of meeting me in person because they don't know me.
Yeah.
It's a safe location to go pick it up. Like,
and like the thing about the IDs and the credit cards too, it's like, if my credit card is missing and I don't know where I lost it, and like I go to the last place I used it and they say they don't have it, because that's what you do. If you find out your credit card is missing, you go to the last place you used it and you say, hey, do you have my credit card? If they don't have it, I'm canceling it. Right. So you posting it is like irrelevant, because that card is no longer valid and I'm about to get a new card number. So you just gave out all my information for absolutely no reason. And then the ID, the same thing. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't know you can just put an ID in a mailbox and they will mail it to that person. Right. Like, don't post people's personal information on local Facebook pages. And then even worse, a lot of the comments were disgusting. A lot of the comments were like, oh, she's pretty. I wish that was my phone. Like, fuck you. Like,
and it could have been like a teenage girl too.
Yeah.
Like, what if it was like a 14-year-old and it's, her boyfriend's phone and he's like 15?
The comment section of like anytime a girl is posted on screen is absolutely insane. Like, have you seen the new Victoria's Secret model? She has Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Victoria's Secret just hired a model with Down syndrome, and her picture keeps getting posted in a couple of the Facebook groups I'm in, and the comment section is just disgusting. Like, they're all like, oh, well, I do it. And, just making a lot of like very derogatory remarks about people with Down syndrome and like disabilities in general. And
I
they're
would
like,
leave a group if it had
yeah,
been it.
yeah,
But
I
here
did.
lately, I've been just leaving groups. I'm just like,
Yeah.
people.
Because every
I've
time I
been
look at
cutting
comments,
everything out of my life that's toxic. Like
yeah.
family, friends,
Yeah, but it's
groups. I
like,
don't care. I really don't care anymore. I've just
like
lost my care.
after years of Victoria's Secret being like, we only hire stick thin models who look absolutely flawless. They're finally like including larger models, including models with disability, trying to like rebrand. And then for people to go like, oh, I'd still fuck her. Like, what is her? She's literally just a girl trying to live her life and her dream. Cause that's what she said. She's like, my dream since being a kid was to be a model. And, I didn't want to let Down syndrome hold me back. And these people are like, well, it'd be difficult, but I think I could do it. Like, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people in groups are disgusting. And like the anonymity that you get from like being behind a computer screen is absurd. In lighter news, though, so Lindsay found something super cool. It was
I did?
diseases. Yes, you did. Diseases and casualties of 1632. So we were
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah. So we were briefly talking about some of them, and I was like, I'm gonna actually define these because they're nuts. Like, so I'm just gonna go through a couple of them. Diseases and casualties of 1632. So like some of them are boring, but if there's one that you want to talk about, like, you know. So one person died of being affrighted, which I mean that's frightened, like scared to death. 628 aged, whatever. They had a bit with mad dog. And when I saw this one, I was like, so it's just like an attack, like you're holding a dog and you're just like using it as a weapon.
I would think probably like a rabid dog.
Yeah, that's what it
They
was.
probably didn't know what rabies was then. So
Yeah, but that's what I did not think of. I literally thought it was like dog as a weapon. And only one person died of it. So it's like, yeah, one person died of being bit with a dog as a weapon. It just made me think of that comedian who told a story of a guy who used an alligator as a weapon to rob a Wendy's. Like he literally was like holding up a baby alligator and he's like, give me your money. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, no. And they threw the alligator through the drive-through window. So see, what were some other? Oh, this one, you like cancer and wolf. It's like it literally says
and
cancer
wolf
and wolf, and 10 people died of it.
of having cancer and a
See,
wolf.
and a wolf. And see, my thought was like, if it's and wolf, then they didn't die of cancer because
They died of the wolf.
they died of the wolf. And that's what the person that wrote this article, she was like, at first I thought it was a wolf attack, but 10 people in a year raises questions like, can someone maybe deal with this wolf? And that's why I thought
It's one wolf.
This wolf was like, hey, can we get like a search party together?
Playing Red Dead, I've seen that wolves attack pretty often.
Yeah.
And you do die from that a lot.
But I feel like even one wolf attack, like the amount of people that
Wolves
like,
are always in packs though.
yeah. But but if like somebody died, like if you're walking by yourself, you get attacked by a wolf, like the people in your village would be like, we're gonna go kill this wolf. Because there's something similar happening. Huh?
There's gonna be more wolves.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop people from, being like that. Like there's a shark attack.
They
in
may kill the
Australia.
one that killed you, but that doesn't mean another one's gonna come along.
I know, but like
Kill more people.
When they have these, it's like it's one wolf that like went away because humans are not the same thing. It's the same with sharks. Like somebody just died of a shark attack. So everybody's immediate response was to throw nets in the water and try and kill all the sharks in the area. And it's like, that's insane. Like,
because they don't
one
normally
shark
kill people.
Yeah. But like same thing with wolves. Like they're not known to just like randomly unprovoked attack people. However, a historian said that wolf is a form of cancer. So it's yeah, so it's a cancer that eats into flesh. So it's not wolves and cancer, it's a cancer that eats.
I was just thinking, man, that really sucks for those people. Like, first, sorry you have cancer. Oh, I feel like shit, I'm gonna walk home. But then you're so weak, you just can't even run from the wolf.
Yeah.
So you just,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
It's a real bummer. Oh, good. And now a wolf is here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was a weird
strawberry. All right, now go away.
That would work for me. Here's some food. Now scatter. Cut of the stone. What do you think cut of the stone is?
Cut of the stone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably getting your head cut off on a stone.
So that is not what it is. It is apparently just a operation to remove bladder stones, which I would actually like to implement as the term for when you have bladder stones removed. That sounds way cooler. Yeah. Kidney stones, bladder stones, basically if they have to cut into you to take stones out.
Can you imagine having surgery in the 1600s? Like, no.
That's what they said. They were like, a lot of people did not make it. Like,
I would just die.
Well, that was
when I took history and medicine in college, and they used to do lobotomies, or not like lobotomies, but brain surgeries. And if the person died, the doctor was charged with murder.
Really?
And this was like hundreds of years ago. I would be like, yeah, I wouldn't be doing that surgery.
No, I would never. I'd be like, oh, sucks that you're crazy. I'm not risking a murder charge.
No, but like if they had seizures or there was swelling in the brain and they needed to go in and alleviate that,
hard pass.
If they died from it, you would be charged with murder and you'd be put to death for it. It's like,
put to death.
Years did they spend learning how to do that in whatever year this was? And you're just gonna kill them for that? Like, trial and error, bro. Like, come on.
My favorite medical, like, historical fact is that, like, washing your hands was actually controversial for a while. Like, somebody was like, you should really wash your hands before surgeries because of like disease prevention. And like a bunch of people were like, fuck you, I've been doing surgeries and my death rate is pretty high, but like that's obviously not the cause. And then like a couple of years later, it was like, oh no, that was the cause. It was because I'm using my dirty hands I just like ate my lunch with to like poke in somebody's brain. Okay, I guess I can start washing my hands. But yeah, like hand washing was not always a universal, like you need to do this. This one's just a bad way to die. It's not particularly like interesting, but it says executed and pressed to death. And I didn't find an actual definition, but I mean, pressed to death is, you know, squished. It was a little weird though, that it was like they were executed and then pressed until they died. But it just makes me think like a guillotine with like a sandwich board behind it. But I know they have those like medieval devices where
they had some pretty torturous devices.
That's what the ice cream sandwiches, I believe, are actually modeled after a medieval torture device, because like they would have these two boards and they would have spikes on the inside, and that's what they would press into you. So that one was a fun one. This is just like a very lighthearted way to do it. A falling sickness. Any guesses?
Probably where you pass out.
It's epilepsy and seizures.
Yeah.
So
there's actually, fall down.
Yeah, like something that I noticed with these was that they have a lot of different terms for these same things. Like there's 3 different things on this list that mean like tuberculosis. And it was like, just call it like one thing, because they're having like, it's
maybe
like
different areas,
I guess, but like it was just one of those things where it was like you have, you know, one person dying from this and one person dying from this and one person dying from this. It's 3 deaths, but it's all the same cause. So it's not like a true representation of like what that did. So let's see. Oh, French pox. I do like French pox. Have you heard of it? All right. So French pox is just syphilis, but the English
think you
didn't like
told me
the
that.
French. Yeah, the English did not like the French, so they called it French pox. And like, I can get behind that. That one, like, absolutely great. You have lockjaw, I think, too, right? That is also called jawfaln, like JWFALN. So if you want to say lockjaw, you could be fancy with it.
People died.
Yeah, people died from it.
How many?
8.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess if you can't eat or drink.
Yeah. Because that's what, when I first started getting it, the doctor was like, if your jaw ever locks open, you have to come to the hospital and get like a muscle relaxer shot into it. And then maybe we can pop it closed. And I was like, I'm sorry, you're going to what? He goes, we have to shove it
Mine
closed.
locks open. I've never went and got a shot though.
But it's because you can usually put it back yourself. That's what he says.
No,
Like,
I went last year, like almost 2 months, not able to close it all the way.
really? See,
Now, it's not like that. It wouldn't close, so I couldn't chew anything.
See, I learned to not open my mouth that wide so that I wouldn't, because I was so scared of like them shoving my jaw back into place.
Yeah.
And then I found out that apparently it was just because I had a wisdom tooth that was impacted, and all of the dentists growing up were terrible dentists who didn't catch that I had an impacted wisdom tooth.
Well, your wisdom teeth sometimes don't form until after you're older. Like, so they're not even in there when they do x-rays.
I remember
I didn't have any when they did my x-rays when I was like 12 to 14 before I got my braces.
Well, no, I went to a dentist when I was 18 too. And I
didn't have any then either when I got my braces off. There were none in my gut. But then a few years ago, I had to have one taken out that had formed later on.
Because I remember like telling them like I have this lockjaw issue, and they were just like, there's nothing we can do. It's just a thing that you could have. So this one, 46 people died, and it says killed by several accidents. And I was like, 46 people with several accidents? Like, what happened? But apparently it's just miscellaneous. Like, they're just like, oh, you died from something random. So we're just getting several. So like several accidents is not like multiple accidents on one person. Because somebody was like, so what is it? Like you fell down and then you got hit by a carriage, and that's several accidents. But apparently it's just like, now if you get hit by a carriage, that's a miscellaneous event that they just do it under there. You like
There's
this
someone in Houston on one of their overpasses, because they have those really stacked overpasses, that I guess their vehicle stalled or they had a flat or something on like the top one until they pull over, and there's not an actual shoulder. So they pull over and go to get out. They get hit. They fall over that overpass, drop down to another one, get hit again. Like it was, it was really bad.
Did they survive?
No.
You don't know. I've seen that. Like I just saw somebody who got hit by a truck.
About it.
Their truck, like a semi truck, literally ran into them, folded their car in half on top of them, and like stopped. And that person lived somehow. And it was like, I'm sorry, the semi folded itself on top of your car and stopped there, and you were trapped in this, and you lived. How? Yeah. So you like this one, The King's Evil.
I don't know what it is, but I do like it.
Yeah. So this is another form of tuberculosis. This one is in the neck glands. But they said that a touch of the king was supposed to cure this disease. And let me tell you something, if I was king, I don't know that I would want to go around touching sick people.
Right?
Like, you're like, king, the only
That's
thing
why king's evil, because he refused to touch them and they died.
It's like, that was it. It's like, king, if you touch this person, they will live, but it's also a communicable disease. So it's like, well, then why would I? Like, can I wave from a distance? What the hell?
Red. Why is my nose so red?
Because this is what people with color have. I was gonna say that your does look very red. Maybe strawberries. This one's just a classy way to say it. It's called lunatique with a Q, but it's just
crazy,
suffering from madness. And they said that it was influenced by the moon. Oh, this was a weird one. Planet. So
I remember that one.
Yeah, 13 people died of planets.
The
So
planet. What did Uncle Marvin die of? The planet.
yeah, you're just like,
What do you
what does
mean?
that even mean?
The planet. It just sucked him in and he died. I don't know.
Just like Earth just had it and they just specifically targeted this person. The shorthand for it, they said that planet is shorthand for planet struck. And I was like, that does not clear up anything. What the hell does planet struck mean?
Does it mean weather?
It so medical practitioners believed that the planets influenced your health. So if you had suddenly gotten ill, it's said to be maligned by the planets. And they said symptoms like aneurysm, strokes, heart attacks. I immediately thought of Mercury in retrograde. Like when I saw like a person who was struck in by the forces of a particular planet, that's what I thought of. I didn't think heart attacks and strokes. I thought
Now I know why that's so significant to know if your Mercury's in retrograde.
yeah. So like,
Die from that.
yeah, because that's what I thought. I was like, I'm like, okay, you're struck by the planet. So like when you're crazy and we're all like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, that's why I'm crazy. Like that's an actual thing, apparently. Purples. So 38 people died of purples.
I mean, purples can be very bold.
They can be dicey. So it's a cute way of saying purple blotches on the skin caused by broken blood vessels, usually indicating scurvy or a circulation problem. And it's the most severe stage of smallpox. But like, what a cute way to die if you're like, oh, cousin Ted died of purples. This one's another like kind of cutesy name for something terrible. Quinsy. Like Quinsie. 7 people died of it.
Quincy.
Yeah. Sounds whimsical, right? It's a form of choking to death.
Doesn't sound like it would be choking to death.
Sure doesn't. Complications of tonsillitis, where an abscess grows between your tonsil and your throat. And if that is not removed, you can suffocate. So that's a thing. Rising of the lights. So 98 people died of rising of the lights.
When the sun comes up, they're vampires.
Yeah.
The sun came up and they died.
Yeah, that's the only logical explanation. The actual definition makes no sense. It's a hoarse cough, difficulty breathing, or a choking sensation caused by croup, asthma, pneumonia, emphysema. So at first I was like, how in the hell is that rising the lights? I guess the lungs were compared to lights. So like when you think of it this way, I don't know. But they said like the lungs were said to be like the lights of the body. So Lynn's like, okay, well, I guess if you have like a cough and difficulty breathing, it's, you know, lights and rising.
That's all they're all on.
Yeah. I liked this one because it just seems so lazy to me. 62 people died suddenly. And I was like,
I would think like an aneurysm or something.
yeah, like it's unknown sudden death. But like to me, it just seemed like a medical doctor was like, listen, I'm about to go home. Can we just put suddenly? Like, I'm not looking into this.
Yeah.
Especially since they have other things on this list that are for aneurysms and things like that. So it's like, why is suddenly there?
I didn't want to look and see if that was what it was. There's like, I'm so tired of dealing with all these deaths. Just put that they died suddenly. Who cares?
Exactly. Let's see.
The point is they're gone now. So
they're gone, they're not coming back, and we don't have to do anything. Surfet. 86 people died of surfet, surfet.
Surfet. From surfing?
Cute. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, they were big surfers back in 1692.
Would you quit begging me for more? I gave you like half my food.
That's why they keep coming back. Children and pets, you can't feed them ever. They'll just keep coming back. So this one is an excess of something. So they said that like what it's an excess of is like variable. So like overeating food that is poisonous in large quantities could cause you to die of surfet. But like essentially it's if you die of an excess of something. This one, because of all of my issues, 470 people that year died of teeth. So I'm going to die of teeth this year. I can
Let's hope
guarantee
not.
it. Huh?
Let's hope not.
I hope not too, but like, I don't know. Like at this point, I don't know. This one was another just like a cute name. Tissick. Tissick. It's cute. It's a wasting disease of the lungs, wheezing, coughing, associated with asthma, bronchitis, tuberculosis. So like, but it sounds cute. Like these diseases sound adorable.
Yeah.
You had to die
There
of
was nothing
one.
cute in life back then. So they were like, at least let's make it cute in death.
Can you like when I was researching these, I found like some of the definitions in the article, and then like I had to go to Reddit for some of the others, and like the people on there, like being a historian and like coming across this and having to research and try and figure out what these things were has got to be just like the weirdest thing.
They probably just read documents from back then.
As a historian, I can't even imagine like going to work and being like, okay, time to find out what purple is. Like some people died of being purple, and it's time to find out. Or like, yeah, like choke or cut of the stone. Like be like, okay, cut somebody with rocks. Next.
Right.
But that's why I'm not a historian.
Okay, let's spin the wheel of mediocrity.
Yay.
Wah, wah. It's disappointment.
I told you. So like disappointment for me is like the highest form of disappointment is literally bad food. Like I love eating so much that when I'm looking forward to eating something and it's bad, and especially if I paid like my own money or a lot of money for it, I'm just like so upset.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people, I only get like the same thing every time I go somewhere because I
Yeah.
have a fear that I'll be disappointed and not
Mhm.
like the other new thing I'm trying. And I'm like, then
Yeah.
I'll still be hungry.
Well,
So
I always order two things. Like I order if I'm trying something new, I'll order something I know I like, and then also the other thing.
and then if you like what you got, then you can take what you knew you liked home for later.
Exactly. Well, I never eat in places because I don't like eating in places. But yeah, I have like this, I don't like eating in public. I'll do it under duress, but it's
I
not my
will eat anywhere, obviously, because I eat on the show all the time. Like I do not care.
yeah, I don't know.
Eat in front of anyone, doesn't matter.
I'm not a classy eater. Like I
I'm
am
not a classy
constantly,
eater.
yeah, well, it bothers me. I'm always spilling things on my boobs and like digging like I literally sit there and I'm just like digging crumbs out of my boobs, and then there's also always a stain right there. So when I try to like plan outfits out for work, I like sit there, I'm like, okay, like I wore white to work the other day and I almost had a heart attack. So I was like, okay, what can I bring for lunch that won't spill and still is like semi-nutritious? Because I was like, I can't bring a salad because I spill dressing on myself constantly. Like sandwiches are a little bit dicey depending on the ingredients. So yeah, that's disappointment is also ruining your favorite shirt in the laundry because you actually don't know the proper way to remove stains before you put them in the washing machine.
Yeah, I'm a terrible laundry person.
Yeah, it goes in the
Everything
washing
just
machine.
goes in there. If it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, then that's a yard shirt now.
Yeah, that's how I do laundry too. What disappoints you?
I don't like when people lie. That's like the biggest disappointment to me because when someone lies, then I can't trust anything that they say after that. Because it's like, well, are you lying or are you telling the truth now? Because I don't know because you're a liar.
And also you're like, why are you lying to me? Am I not an understanding person?
Well, that and like, so you think so little of me that I'm not even worthy of the truth.
Yeah.
Like, So I don't like when people lie. That's my biggest disappointment. Is when I'm lied to, especially by someone that I trusted or cared about or something. That
Yeah, I don't like that. Let's see. I'm getting a
Gary
different one.
disappoints me.
He's always working.
Yeah, that's why he's not here today, by the way. He had to work overtime today.
Yeah.
I guess it's the last time he'll have to work overtime for that company, though.
For that company, but like who knows
company.
about
The
the
new
new
job.
one. So I worked like a ton of overtime, but I did it to myself and I was like, I don't care. Like I'm up anyway. That's another thing that's disappointing, not being able to sleep. So I've been working until midnight. So like I used to work until 10. So I'd get home at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'd be up for, 2 hours and then I would go to sleep and I would wake up anywhere between 8 and 10 in the morning, which is enough sleep. So recently I've been working until midnight until we hire somebody new. And now it's like, okay, now I'm getting home at 1 in the morning. I'm still up for 2 hours. Now it's 3, sometimes 4. Guess what my body still wants to do? Get up at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I have to stay up until midnight. And I'm not a person that can nap. Like my body just will not do it. So that's disappointing, but that's over now. Starting Tuesday, I get to go back to working a shift that doesn't make me want to die.
Yeah.
Yours is deep. Mine are all superficial, just minor inconveniences that just disappoint me during the day. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye. It's not the same without Gary.
It's not the same without Gary.